right now on 5 on your side at 10.
We start with breaking news. Fans ecstatic as they leave Enterprise Center tonight. The final game of the regular season ended just minutes ago, and for the first time in 3 years, the St. Louis Blues are headed to the Stanley Cup playoffs. It was a must-win tonight in front of the home crowd. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. Sports director Frank Cusimano's here with the big moments of a big game, Frank.
Mike and Kelly, I rode up in the elevator at Enterprise with Blues owner Tom Stillman. I asked him if he does anything superstitious. He said he has a lucky seat he must sit in. But tonight wasn't about luck. It was about domination. The Blues' best move of the season may have been the hiring of Jim Montgomery. Another good one was putting Jimmy Snuggerud in uniform right away. He stopped on the breakaway, but Braden Shen, who he lives with, will clean it up 1-0 Blues. Later, Blues on the power play, and Snuggerud will score his first NHL goal, and the note led it 3-0. Speaking of young stars, Blues on the power play, Zach Bolduc will score his 19th goal of the season. Jordan Kyrou added 2 more, and the Blues go on to win it 6-1. Let's go to the podium and listen live to head coach Jim Montgomery.
And when you first got here, was this a moment you thought was realistically possible this year? Or when did you really start thinking this could happen?
I thought as soon as I coached the first game against the Rangers, I saw how much depth of talent was here. And I thought if we can get to the right places in our habits and our game management, that we would be able to do this. But like I've said all along, it took longer than I expected.
So the Blues clinch a playoff spot. What is next? Well, the Wild beat the Ducks tonight 3-2, so the Blues finish in the second wildcard spot. They will open the playoffs at Winnipeg. I'm told game 1 will be Saturday night.
And Corey Miller is in the locker room right now. He'll have more reaction from the team in a live report later on in sports. And you can already snag some playoff tickets. Text the word Blues to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link to buy tickets to the first 3 rounds.
It was chilly inside Enterprise Center, and it's chilly outside. Some of you could even wake up to more frost. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here to tell us about that, and the weather impact alert days already issued for Easter weekend, Scott.
You know, any frost tomorrow is minimal in impacts across the area. So I think overall low impacts. Thursday, some scattered showers. We may get some evening thunderstorms Friday. That's still a bit of a question. What isn't a question is rain coming in here on Saturday and lingering into Sunday. Some of that could be heavy at times. So we've issued a weather impact alert for Saturday into Sunday. It might get extended into Friday evening, Friday night, depending on the development of thunderstorms. But this is the biggest problem here. We're talking about more rain, substantial rain, widespread 1 to 3 inch amounts. Most of this is going to happen from Friday night into early Sunday morning, but some of it will happen a little sooner, a little bit will happen a little bit later than that. But Saturday into Saturday night really does look like the soggiest part of the time as we head into the weekend. Tomorrow morning, though, out the door, it's chilly. Temperatures in the 30s away from town, 42 in town. Don't worry about the frost tomorrow morning. It's not going to be a big deal. We'll talk about those rain chances and what you can expect by Friday evening in the bi-state in just a few minutes.
Tonight, a much-needed sewer system upgrade in Cahokia Heights in jeopardy.
It's one of 15 projects in the Metro East impacted by funding cuts. And 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski questioned leaders about how this could leave residents helpless.
The level of uncertainty is really paralyzing for a lot of these communities.
In March, Congress passed appropriations legislation that left out more than $67 million for projects in southern Illinois that were already approved by Congress previously. And now Representative Nikki Budzinski says she has to resubmit them for fiscal year 2026.
These are not Democratic or Republican priorities. These are priorities of the communities, of the working people that I'm so proud to represent in Congress. And they deserve a lot better.
More than $1 million was promised to the city of Cahokia Heights for a project called the West Interceptor.
Right now, we're connected with East St. Louis. Even though we can be okay with our sanitary sewer, if they have problems, it comes to our side. And vice versa, if we have problems, it could come to their side.
It's part of their major sewer and water system overhaul for Cahokia Heights and East St. Louis that is required by a consent decree handed down from the U.S. Justice Department.
So the fact that you're mandating that we fix these problems, and then you fight representatives like her who's trying to fight for those dollars. It's just very, very devastating.
If they don't get this money, the Cahokia Heights Mayor's Chief of Staff, Francella Jackson, says the project could disappear altogether.
And then we have to go back and tell these residents, you're going to continue to have raw sewage coming up in your homes. You're going to continue to suffer from water and things like that because they're playing games in Washington with people's lives.
Are you hopeful we'll still be able to get this money, or are you worried we might not?
I am worried, and I would just go back to the point that the level of uncertainty that we're seeing at the federal level is going to impact the investments that are going to be made at the state and the local level. This is going to have a trickle-down effect.
The city of Cahokia Heights says there is no other source of funding for this sewer project other than taking it out of their general fund away from other city services.
Good afternoon, St. Louis, and welcome to our city's next chapter.
Tonight, the new mayor of St. Louis is promising a new era in city projects. Kara Spencer took the oath of office today along with Donna Behringer, the first new city comptroller in 30 years. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is live outside City Hall with a closer look at some of the priorities the new mayor plans to focus on.
Well, public safety, including oversight of the jail and city streets. Take a look.
We will allow an oversight board in the jail. We need to have transparency in the CJC.
Those words are music to the ears of the chair of the city's detention facilities oversight board, Reverend Darrell Gray, who publicly supported the new mayor during her campaign.
Other obstacles and barriers created by the former administration.
Not being able to get inside.
Not being able to get inside. Not being able to have access to complaints, first of all, but then not being able to have access to complainants, detainees. Wouldn't give us access to the dorm representatives who represent 700 plus detainees.
He and other board members have complained that they weren't able to do their job, prompting some to leave.
We started with 9. We're at 5, so we've lost, 5, 6 board members over the course of the last 3 years, all of them who have resigned. There were some who had termed out, but their term had been renewed.
Gray is hoping to get new board members in and work with the new mayor to make sure the jail is running effectively.
Yeah, we're going to be really putting forward some initiatives with regards to reckless driving.
The group TrailNet, which advocates for safe walking, biking, and transit, says it is looking forward to meeting with Mayor Spencer and the Board of Alderpersons to discuss legislative priorities and funding that will create a safer environment for people using our streets. We are considering citywide changes in the speed limit, the group said, equitable placement of automated enforcement, and control over and funding of street maintenance by the Streets Department. And Mayor Spencer says she's also committed to create policies for transparency and accountability, including an open door policy here at City Hall. That's where we're live downtown tonight. Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And you can watch all of today's inauguration festivities on the 5+ streaming app. It is free to watch on your TV. Just search for KSDK on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV app store.
Tonight, arson investigators are looking into a massive pallet fire in East St. Louis that burned for hours. That fire broke out overnight at Pallet Sales and Recycling. Crews from 30 different agencies worked to put it out. The cause is under investigation. The fire chief believes it's suspicious. Tonight, a couple is charged in a road rage incident in St. Louis County that ended in gunfire.
The victim told police the suspects followed him for miles. New at 10, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend has reaction from neighbors.
A man told police on March 30th he drove on I-64 near I-270 in St. Louis County when he passed a couple's car, cutting them off. Investigators say 26-year-old Torrance Triplett and 24-year-old Miracle Amerson then drove nearly 14 miles and followed the man to this Walgreens on North Lindbergh. The victim told police when the couple confronted him, he feared for his safety and drove off. That's when he said Triplett fired multiple shots into his car.
I think it's pretty terrifying.
I think it's pretty, outrageous that somebody would drive that far just to shoot at somebody.
The driver wasn't hurt. He told police Emerson also had a gun. Investigators say she later admitted she waved a firearm at the victim and her boyfriend shot into the man's car. It happened down the street from the Hazelwood police station and across from the Elm Grove shopping center.
That's insane.
Karen Condon lives in the neighborhood.
And Missouri Highway Patrol has a substation right there. It is mind-blowing. It's pretty sad, really, to have no value for human life.
I know up in this mall, there's a lot of kids going in and out, the restaurants and stuff. Anybody innocent could have been hit, so that's very concerning.
Prosecutors charged Triplett and Emerson with unlawful use of a weapon and armed criminal action. Police recovered a gun from the suspect's car. They say they also found a second gun and marijuana from the couple's home. Back in this neighborhood, big sighs of relief after hearing the driver survived.
He's real lucky.
Well, it could have been the other way. The car probably saved his life.
And tonight, Triplett and Emerson remain in jail. Both are being held on a $150,000 cash-only bond.
A new battle tonight over abortion rights in Missouri.
We're going to overturn this again.
It is a coup on fundamental rights.
The push to put it back on the ballot. Expensive Easter.
It's too crazy. It's ridiculous.
The two holiday staples costing you more and how you can hop around those higher prices.
Rain chances really ramp up heading into the weekend. We've issued a weather impact alert for the heavier rain that could challenge some of our Easter plans. New model data in sheds light on what looks like a gloomy weekend.
Developing tonight, authorities in Texas looking for the gunman who opened fire inside a Dallas high school. 4 students were hit by the gunfire. Their injuries range from serious to non-life-threatening. It's unclear what led to the shooting. Investigators say they have identified a suspect. Now, this is the same school where a student was shot in the leg inside a classroom last year.
A new push tonight in Jefferson City to limit abortion access in Missouri. Today's 4-hour debate in the House floor comes just 5 months after voters restored abortion rights by approving Amendment 3. House Joint Resolution 73 would only allow abortions in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy for medical emergencies, genetic anomalies, rape, or incest. Democrats argue this undermines the vote of the people. The bill's Republican sponsor calls it a compromise.
You might get 51% to vote for something, but it came in 7 counties. What people wanted and what was stated over and over, we have put in this HJR.
The Missouri legislature takes it upon themselves to undo that and to undermine the will of the voters. It doesn't matter who's in charge. If we set that precedent, does that continue?
If approved by both the House and Senate, the question will go before voters in the November 2026 election.
Well, Easter is just 5 days away, and many consumers are concerned their traditional holiday meal could come with a higher price tag.
Especially for staples like eggs and chocolate. Elise Schoenig shows us what you can expect at the grocery store.
Easter meals could come with a higher price tag this year.
Everything is pretty expensive now. It's too crazy.
The National Retail Federation says U.S. consumers will spend around $23.6 billion total on Easter, which is up from $22.4 billion last year.
And I spent $31 on 2 bags of groceries, and it's like, what the heck?
Judy Roberson has noticed her own Easter shopping list is more expensive.
Eggs used to be 99 cents at Easter because we used to, make 2 dozen of them for and decorate them and stuff. And so, yeah, it's ridiculous.
The most recent consumer price index showed a record high egg price at $6.23 per dozen. High egg prices are linked to outbreaks and bird flu cases, significantly lowering supplies of eggs. Robert Dunsing owns Best Regards Bakery and Cafe.
With all the tariffs that they're talking about, there's really nothing that's going to be left untouched. So there's nothing we can do it as a bakery to worry about that or to fix that. Nothing we can do as consumers.
Data also shows the price for a ton of cocoa beans has hit numerous record highs in the last year. And experts say that's because weather and climate changes have created a cocoa shortage.
We choose to take the more positive path and just focus on what we can control.
Judy knows she can't control the price tags.
I don't know how people are doing it if they have a family to feed.
But she can focus on the positive.
Luckily, it's just my husband and I.
Spending the holiday with who she loves.
And that was Elise Schoening reporting. If you are looking to save, chains like Target and Walmart are offering Easter meal bundles with meals valued as low as $5 to $6 a person.
A Texas teen who refused to let terminal brain cancer write his final chapter made history in Berkeley today. 13-year-old DJ Daniel, diagnosed with terminal brain cancer at age 6 and given just 5 months to live, set an ambitious goal to be sworn in by 1,000 police departments. Today at the Renaissance Hotel, 203 departments simultaneously made him an honorary officer, shattering the previous record of 65.
God gave me my wings, but he said, I'm going to take these back from you because you don't get these wings until you graduate the school of life. But there's only one thing missing here. When do I go on patrol and when do I get paid?
Another badge of honor for DJ. He threw out the first pitch at tonight's Cardinals game.
Hey, I don't blame him. When does he get paid?
Right.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact forecast. Beautiful day today, but I know you are looking ahead to some possible showers.
Yes, there are
to
changes.
rain on our Easter Day parade.
Yeah, there's definitely a whole bunch of changes coming our way before this week is done. Today was probably one of the pick days of the week. Still breezy, still, kind of cool, below average for this time of year. But by the end of the week, we're really warm on Friday, and Friday evening thunderstorms. Potential's there. Some of them might be strong. That remains to be seen. But as we get into late Friday night, into Saturday, into Sunday, waves of rain will come our way. That's going to cause the creeks to rise, some slower travel too. We are talking about a substantial amount of rain coming up and kind of focusing once again along I-44. Now, it's not the huge amounts like we saw with that system that dropped, locally a foot of rain across parts of southeast Missouri, far southern Illinois. But we are talking about 1 to 3 inches, with some spots 3.5, 4 inches or more by the time everything's said and done. Now, some of that will come on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, but most of it's coming later Friday night through Saturday night and early Sunday morning. The Friday evening storm chance, it's there, and then we switch over to waves of rain going into Sunday. The strong storm chance, it's kind of a conditional thing. It may happen Friday evening, but there's no guarantee about that, so it's a limited severe weather threat at this point. We will update you as we get closer and as we see whether that's going to materialize, but we are pretty confident that there will be some rain, heavy at times, Saturday into Saturday night. That's going to cause the creeks and streams to rise. So this weekend, a lot going on. It's Easter weekend, a lot of folks traveling. Make sure your devices are charged. The timing on every event and every wave of rain may shift a little bit, but you'll need the rain gear and some extra travel time. And if you have outdoor recreation plans, probably going to need to make a few adjustments there, especially on Saturday. High pressures dominating the routes tonight. That keeps us clear. Some scattered frost tomorrow, but we're already seeing the pattern change out west. That starts chugging the moisture our way. First wave of showers, that chance arrives on Thursday morning. Looks like by 9, 10 o'clock, right after the morning rush hour, we'll have some showers and some rumbles of thunder drift through the area. That, not severe, not a huge problem, just kind of primes the pump. We're back into the mid-80s for highs Friday afternoon, and then Friday evening along that front to our north and west, that's where the anticipation is. We'll see some showers and thunderstorms develop as that front sags to the south of St. Louis on Saturday. We're on the cooler side of it, but we're also on the side of that front that keeps bringing more unsettled weather and waves of rain our way. So just kind of summing up what we're looking at here. Warm on Friday. The storm chances after dark, it looks like. And then as we head into the weekend, that's our weather impact alert days here as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Focus on it being pretty wet for much of Saturday. Sunday, we'd likely start Easter morning wet, but then there's some breaks during the afternoon hours. And over the weekend, the severe weather threat doesn't look like it's a big deal. And even Friday evening, it's very iffy as if there would be severe weather at this point.
All right, but lots of rain.
Lots of rain.
Scott, thanks. Frank Cusimano is here.
Well, we are going to take you into the locker room and hear from the victorious Blues. Plus, The Cardinals got another great pitching performance, but wasn't enough. Stick around.
And a reminder, we're always streaming on 5+. Here's a look at some of the programs you can catch right after this newscast. You can watch for free on your TV by downloading the 5+ streaming app to your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV device.
It's kind of cool when you think about it. In the absolute most important game of the season, the Blues play arguably their best first period of the season. And if you're just joining us, the Wild beat the Ducks 3-2. So the Blues will open the playoffs at Winnipeg. Game 1 will likely be Saturday night. All I can say is these three did not enjoy their Tuesday night in St. Louis. You know who did? Jimmy Snuggerud. He doesn't score on this breakaway, but his landlord, Braden Shen, does. 1-0 note. This is so pretty. Pavel Buchnevich, Jake Neighbors, back to Buch, 2-0 Blues. And this is pretty cool too. Snuggerud has yet to score an NHL goal. That drought will end right there, and the Blues up 3-0. That was a power play goal, and this one is also. Zach Bolduc with a laser. Blues up 4-0. And Jordan Binnington, well, he was Jordan Binnington. Blues win it 6-1. For the post-game report, let's head to Enterprise and check in with our Corey Miller. Corey.
Frank, the Blues had won 11 straight games at home coming into tonight. They hadn't lost a game here at Enterprise Center since February 22nd, and they were not going to lose this one tonight. A big-time win to clinch a playoff berth, the first time since 2022 over Utah. And, you know, I was in this Blues locker room and talking to Monty before we came out here to do this live shot. They are happy about this moment.
Oh, it feels really good. And I love the way we did it. We got back to who we are for 60 minutes. In the first 8 minutes, I knew we were going to win just by the way we were committed to playing north and playing at the goal line. I thought our forecheck was excellent, and we made them defend.
You know, this is what you train for in the summer, and then this is what you play for all year to have a chance at the Stanley Cup, and you know, you just have to get in and anything can happen. And we saw that you know, years ago. And
you know, we've worked really hard for this the last couple months especially, and now we just have to settle in here for the next few days and just appreciate the opportunity we have and get ready for a pretty big challenge.
Frank, we also talked to Jimmy Snuggerud in the locker room. Braden Shen, his landlord, as you mentioned, owes him a steak dinner for scoring his first career goal tonight. And Jimmy is also starting his playoff beard a little bit early. He's got a ways to go. Reporting from Enterprise Center with photographer Stephen Turner, I'm Corey Miller. We'll send it back to the station.
All right, Corey, great stuff. So the Cardinals would like to do what the Blues just did. Without enormous expectations, get hot and make the playoffs. And to their credit, they entered tonight's game against the Astros, winners of 3 of their last 4 games. Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball, so everybody wore number 42. Eric Fetty no-hit the Pirates for 6 innings in his last outing. Tonight he went 6 and allowed just 1 run. Cardinals made 2 great defensive plays in the 6th inning. How about Jordan Walker with this sliding stab? And Fetty, oh my goodness, what a play, and he gets the double play. The Astros got a towering home run from Yordan Alvarez in the 8th, and the Cardinals are shut out for the first time this season, the final 2-0. Dennis Gates has lost his top assistant coach, C.Y. Young. Young, a Miami native, has taken the role of associate head coach with the University of Miami. C.Y. has done some great recruiting for the Missouri Tigers. Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter is doubling down on playing both ways in the NFL. Hunter told CBS Sports that if the team that drafts him next week doesn't play him both ways, quote, it's never playing football again, end quote. He's expected to go as high as 3 or 4 overall. In addition to the Heisman, he was named the college football top wide receiver and defensive player of the year. I think it's kind of cool. He wants to play both ways. Let him do it.
And let's talk a little bit about the Blues' first-round playoff matchup. It's against Winnipeg, and they were really the best team in the NHL this year.
We were all hoping for Vegas, but Minnesota messed that up for us. It's going to be a tough task, but with this team, You know, we doubted them all year long. I'm not going to doubt them now. You know, it's like 2019.
And they won 12 in a row. They beat some good teams in that winning streak.
Yeah, and they just have such good mojo. I mean, this Jim Montgomery, he's the most positive coach I've ever been around in professional sports. They love him. They got a great mixture of youth and veterans.
Right.
I mean, this team could make a run.
Perfect ingredients.
Yes.
All right, thanks, Frank. Hold your horses. The runaway wrangled in St. Peter's.
Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt has introduced legislation to make the Monday after Easter a federal holiday. He says 81% of Americans celebrate, but it's too hard for families to celebrate the Sunday holiday together. Schmidt adds Easter always falls in March or April, the only back-to-back months without a federal holiday.
All right, check this out. A St. Peter's police sergeant got into some horseplay while on duty. He answered a call about a horse trotting down Youngerman Road. A horse owner himself, the sergeant fashioned a makeshift bridle from a rope and was able to corral the galloping pony and return it to its owner.
Good work. Well, there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
We hope you'll start your day with Today in St. Louis, and that starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.